design ideas with a dead simple interface. Ian from Mockups, everybody. 5 minutes and counting. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ian, and today I'm going to show you Mockups, a web application productivity tool to help designers refine and better communicate their design ideas. So this is me. I'm a designer for 8 years, and so a big part of my work involves sending web design concepts to clients and colleagues. And for example, here I am in Photoshop with a finished web design, and I need to send this to a client. So what designers usually do is they will open up an email and then they'll type a bunch of paragraphs and bullet points to explain why I chose this one, why I chose that color, and then I would attach the mockup on the email and send it out. But this is really bad because what the client sees is this. Well, it's hardly like a website, and it opens up all kinds of communication problems. A website mockup should look something like this, in the browser and at the correct size. And it turns out that the best way to explain your design is to use annotations on the mockup itself. So what makes a good mockup presentation tool? First, it needs to be as simple and easy to use, like just uploading and sending an image. Two, it needs to be accurate and precise. And it needs to help the designer communicate these ideas. So we built mockups to do just that. So let me go ahead and show you how it works. When you open Mockups, it automatically generates a URL for you to share. All I need to do is click Edit, and then upload my mockup image. And you can change the alignment of your mockup. Next, upload the background texture. And I'm going to go ahead and just make an annotation on the page. So, as you can see, it's really easy. Well, we're also working on a pro version of Mockups called Mockups Pro. So what you can do is it allows you to create folders, and then you can make some of these folders private. And then you can share this folder with your client or your colleagues. And they'll be able to reply to your annotations, and you can have, in a way, conversations to refine your design ideas. We'll also be supporting native iOS gestures, so your mockups look great on the iPad and the iPhone. So this is my team. I'm Ian, and I've been deeply involved for 8 years with various startups in Singapore. Most recently, I've worked with Vicky, and which was mentioned here a few times. I designed all their mobile apps, and Vito is my CTO, and he's been in London for a few years, and he has worked with clients like the BBC and NU.NL, which is the largest online newspaper in the Netherlands. So far, for 8 weeks that we've launched, we had 3,000 users using our service, and we have created more than 4,000 mockups. A third of these mockups have been created in the last week alone. So this is what our users have to say. Michael Stanley and Dustin Curtis, they're from the UK and San Francisco, and they're telling us like, how do you want a pro version. And this is Chesley and Michael Jones from Pennsylvania telling us they want a pro version. So how do we compare to the other apps? Well, the other apps are usually too complex or they're not accurate enough. Well, Mockups is both simple and accurate. This is Mockups, and it's free. You can already start using it. The pro version will be out for $7 a month, sometime later this year. Thank you.
thanks for the presentation. I actually deal with a lot of mock-ups and designs on a regular basis, so I'm definitely going to check your product out. My question to you is, what is the, when people are approving mock-ups, right? I'll tell you my situation. When I look at mock-ups, I don't actually look at annotations. I actually don't give enough respect to designers when I'm looking at their work. And I'm looking at it on the go with my BlackBerry, right? So, doesn't that, if I'm a user like that, that means I can't use your product, right?
So you are speaking from
If I'm a user, I'm a decision maker, right?
Okay.
So put yourself in my shoes for a second. Because the decision maker is the guy that approves all these things, right? So designer sends it up to the decision maker, and he's on the go, right? And I'm using a BlackBerry. How can I use your product?
So I think Mockups is addressing a slightly different market because we are not in the business of like the exit. We're actually in the business of the process. So
I'm part of the process. I look at all my mock-ups for my team, and they do something very differently than you do. So I'm asking you, if I'm part of your process, how do you address me?
Well, if you are the decision maker, right, you would have to look at how good the mockup is, how it's fulfilling your business objectives. And we are building a tool to actually communicate all the design decisions and all the rationale that to you, so you would know that this is a good mockup. Right? So, and it's not so much for approval, like the exit, like I said. It's more like involving the client or the colleagues in a collaborative effort to improve the design.
Because that wasn't clear in your presentation. It wasn't clear. Okay? It's just some feedback from you there. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so I actually tried using the product a week ago, actually. I tried to get my head around the product. I honestly didn't see the value. Usually, my designers usually put notes on the side saying X, Y, or Z. This is using the color of, this is using this HTML color code and whatnot. And it's all laid out in that sense. And usually when I do these meetings face-to-face with the designer on print media as well as digital, so that you can see it on print as well as on the screen. So usually when you do it via email, it's probably your client's all remote or whatnot. And so there was, I didn't really see the actual oomph behind it. So it's a secret sauce. Seriously.
My secret sauce is how simple it is and how easy it is to get started. But for something like maybe someone like a freelance designer, small design team that is used to using email to get design feedback and all that. So this is a really fast way.
Do you think like those small design people want to pay money? Honestly?
Yeah, why not?
Really?
I mean, I've been an independent product designer for years, and I would pay for this.
Okay.
And my users are telling me that they will pay for this.
I mean, usually I end up, if I were to do anything remote, I usually go with something like 99 Designs and have them do it remotely and give them comments and whatnot, and the flow goes pretty well and pretty quickly without making any annotations whatsoever. It's just, that's how the flow goes, and that's how I was able to do it.
I think you mentioned that you have gained X number of users. I think if you're talking about a free product, it will be good for you to add in a slide to show the rate of growth. I think that would help a lot to show that you're gaining traction if there is any kind of traction. Right, because if you see a nice hockey stick, then it will show that people are really finding it useful. And secondly, you mentioned that you're a pro offering, but you didn't really elaborate, where's the value. I think that's where we need to hear. That's the secret sauce, right? That's the good stuff that people are going to pay money for. So I think you can spend a bit more time explaining that. It will really be more helpful.
I agree.
Hello. How big is the potential market for this? How many designers are you looking at?
Well, in US alone, there are about 280,000 registered graphic designers. The number one.
Let's just use a number for a second. So 280,000. How many of them are using the competitors that you listed out?
There's no data around it, so I did manage to research that.
Okay. How many of them do you reasonably expect to use your product?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. All the web designers themselves.
Okay. How many of them will actually pay to use your product?
Those can afford.
Which will be how many percent? I'm just trying to gauge what's the market size and then trying to relate back to if you are eventually going to raise funding, why would you want to fund this? Because we want to know what's the potential market.
So you're asking?
How big is the market, right? Which you mentioned is 280,000, let's say in the States. And then there should be some of them who are willing to use your product. And you mentioned that 100% of them are using your product, so fine. So how many of them will actually eventually be willing to pay for the Pro version at 7?
I don't have the exact number, but I know that design is a very integral process in a startup. So in every internet startup, it needs to do design and then the UI UX. And a lot of them are already paying like for GitHub and Tracker and all that. So I think this is one more tool that can be added to what they use. And I believe my market is as big as that.
That's great, thanks. Thank you very much. Time's up. Thanks for all your questions. I like that answer. All of them. One mock-up to rule them all. Awesome. Our next presenter is a company called